Good morning once again. Welcome to all the listeners via radio or internet stream. Welcome to today's episode of Voices. You're locked on to 98.9 on the FM dial, Win FM. And this program, as most know, is a platform for all and sundry to call and make comments, questions, and contributions. All that we ask is that we don't get into personalities. We keep it clean, keep it educational. My name is Socrates. I'm today's host of the host of today's program. I have with me this morning a rather special guest. First time in the studios of Win FM. Long-standing personality in the Carnival platform. I'm going to have her introduce herself to you. Oftentimes she's trying to tell me, I try to get into your program. I have a story to tell, but I can't get in, so I offered her this chance to speak to the public as to some of her concerns. I'll ask that you hold your calls for a while until the lines are open. Let's hear from Lady Sandra B.
Good morning, radio listeners out in Radio Land. It's a real privilege to be here with the King Socrates. There are a lot of issues that need to be addressed, and I hope that we will get them on the way today and let the public understand what really went down.
Okay. First, let me walk you through it. You are the only female MC within the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis. You has been the only female MC, so you enjoy a certain distinction. And this goes back for how many years?
About 27 years, from
About
93.
27 years you've been performing on the national scale as an MC, the only female MC. You had how many years you worked with both?
I was before with the Grandmasters where I started. And then for 20 years, I'm in the Legends Calypso Band.
For the past 20 years, so you have 3 years as an MC with Proud Songs, Wingove.
Yes, Wingove, that's where I started.
And so, how come you left Wingove?
Well, Wingove, I decided I would not go to join the Legends Calypso tent. After Socrates approached me and told me he was going to start a tent named the Legends, and if I'm interested in being I said, okay. But that's when I left.
Okay.
And
this was
20
when
years
Calypso Reggie was most popular. You have to give tribute and respect to the contribution made by Calypso Reggie. But then there were other male MCs, as we recall Madam Lal, Turkey the Gun, but you have been the only female MC. So, you've been on the stage with Legends for the past 20 years.
Yep, 20 years. The Legends.
Going back 27 years, you work with how many Carnival chairpersons?
About 6.
Okay.
About 6 Carnival chairpersons I've been through from the time I've been on the stage.
Do you recall any?
If I could recall Gus Williams,
Yep.
I could recall Ralph
Willie
Morton.
Morton.
I could recall Shannon.
Shannon Harley.
I can recall
Monarch.
Monarch.
And the most previous to Sylvester.
Sylvester and Tony, then no, the last one there that we have to work with.
So we have, okay.
No, miss, that's 6.
He be the 7, but prior to the current chairman,
Yeah.
you work with 6
Others,
other
chairman.
Carnival chairpersons
Yeah.
because Miss Harley being a
Yeah,
female, and she was the only female
That's the only
chairperson.
female chairperson that I work with. All those was men. The men them were there.
How would you describe over the many years, the past 27 years, your interactions, your relationship with the various chairpersons?
Well, I didn't have any problem with any of the chairmen, as for say, because they never really interfered in the management or the thing of the tents. Most of them helped. Let me put, Sylvester Anthony, the one who really helped the tent, never really tried to get involved in the dynamics with the tents and what they do and try to do not or what not to do.
Okay.
And so I didn't really have any problem with the chairman or the
The
chairman
various
or
over the many
chairwoman
years.
before.
Okay,
over the
this
years.
brings us to last year, which would be the 20th anniversary of the Legends Calypso tent being in existence. You didn't really feature as an MC on the National Slave stage last year. Can you tell us why?
Well, that is a mess dear. Last year, well, let me go back. 2018, they had a show on the radio. I think they were talking calypso or something like that.
Yes,
You were, I think you was part of the show or whatever.
that is correct.
And I listened to the show. And then I called in. I said, well, let me call in. Now it's time for me to call in. Let me give Socrates, he took you know. So I said, good evening, Mr. Mills. This SB here. I'm calling here to say, big up Socrates for keeping the female calypso show alive. And the thing, he paused and thing, I said, So I say, we have to give this man, because he's the one who keeping the female Sunday after Sunday. We go Mapa, we go there, try to keep the female, and so on and so on. Well, who tell me do that? The next morning I get a text long from here to Mexico.
From the current
From
chairman.
the chairman. How I must be careful what I say when I say it. Because I'm calling down the National Carnival. When I take so I text him, we had a text war back and forth. I said, you can't tell me what to say. I said, I am saying, and I'll tell you in your face, that thank God to Socrates for the female calypso show. If never for him, there will never be a female calypso competition. And by the way, I told him, by the way, most of them who made it to the top is from him. But I don't know who tell me to say that either. He said, I'm going to see.
He told you you're going to see?
Yeah, he said, you're going to see. I said, are you going to see? I could see. And then started from there. I don't know what happened. Started from there. He was mad because I said, you think I don't know what it is problem, but I said it and you get mad. Then come forward now. A lady met me and she said to me, you know something? I said, no. She said, well, as long as it's here, you're going to hit the stage. So
Someone
said,
told you, but you really can't substantiate that, but somebody told you that he said as long
he
as he's
said
there.
that as long as I will not hit the stage. So I
Okay.
said, anyway, I don't believe he says and talk and all him talk. Let it unfold. Well, he really unfold. Because I ain't get not one job, Secretary,
This brings us to last year. But let me
Last
dig
year,
in.
not one.
Your statement about me, there were calypso competitions female before I really got that much involved. But I believe it refers to the fact that there were times when the various chairmen of Carnival, let's go back to Mr. Anthony specifically. When Wingrove from Grandmasters, the chairman and myself was sit to discuss the Carnival calendar. And I would speak to the fact that the female show doesn't bring any revenue in.
I know.
And so they're going to close it down. I argued against that. You have to give the female a platform. So whereas the two other parties was in favor of shutting down the show, I argued vehemently to keep the show going.
Exactly.
There are those who feel that the females should not have their own calypso competition, but there was a time that they had no kind of recognition. And over the many, many years, even to outside of Carnival, we would have shows down at Mapa House, like once a month, every Sunday, to build them. We didn't get the support from the public, but you were actually referring to that. The other fact is, over the many years, I've written for about, say, 80% of the female calypsonians
All of them who make
to
it to the
get
top.
them up precisely.
All of them make it to the top.
So you were referring to that, and you had a problem with that.
You had a problem with that.
So this brings us to last year. You normally do the female calypso show.
Oh, yeah. But not
What
last year.
happened?
No. Year before.
The year before.
I am always the MC. As far as I know, I was the only female. So they used to know, well, I'll be the female
the
MC.
female show, okay.
I went down at the
Forgive me?
circus.
Okay.
And I just go down, because I'm going to MC the show. And I gone down. When I down there sitting down, waiting to start the show, Ringwolf said to me, "You're ready to start?" When I look around, I see a lady on the stage. We were watching Ringwolf. No, give the lady the mic. I was like, what
He said nothing to you?
He said, not, the communication is what killing us. Communication is what killing
So
us.
you dressed,
Get-
came to town as usual
As-
to be the MC, the host of the female
And
show.
not a word. More than nothing, they might give to somebody else. I sat down in court and enjoyed myself as usual. As
Did you ask him?
Me? I wasn't going to ask him nothing. I
Okay.
wasn't going to ask him nothing. Because he know that I am the one who did female Calypso show all these years. And if he going to change, he could have said, SB, I have a
least-
change.
at least
He
a
say, you know,
courtesy of letting you know.
communication.
Okay.
Yeah. A little communication will be better. Anyway, that was last year. This year, no. This year.
Not 2020,
I
2019.
mean, last year, 2019, no. 2019, no. Well, you're not here and not talking with me. Because from the elimination, come to the point, Sako. You know, for the 20 odd years that I am doing this, whoever MC do the tents, those are the people who do the eliminations.
Correct.
Went over to Vibe Spa. I had the mic in my hand because Glenn gave me the mic. So I had the mic. The chairman came, took the mic out of my hand. I thought he was going to give the guy to fix the mic, you know. So he gave the mic to, what the guy named there,
Do you know MC?
the new MC.
Sibooks.
Seabooks, yes, that's his name. I never know who he was at the time. And he gave him, and I was like standing up there like, what's going on here? But I still think that the man going to fix the mic. Because I had not thought, because I thought to come somewhere in the MC, because he said he had a problem with short transfer, so we'll have to carry the show. Oh, lo and behold, I am there standing. I came over to you. In the, I said, Secretary, what is going on? You said, what is happening? I said, you mean, no? He said, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And he started the show. Could you believe that? I mean, I was humiliated. I was mad. Because what I'm saying is this. If you're not going to use me, say something to me.
Because you said here with Sandra B, we have a situation.
I'm going to have a change this
we will no
year,
longer need your
and I
service.
will not
Yes.
be using you this year. No problem. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But just don't take the mic out my hand, give it to somebody else.
So then-
Communication is what killing us.
It'll lend credence to what the lady told you that he said. As long as he's as his chairman, you.
And it work out, it all unfold because no work at all I did for the last year carnival. Nothing. Not even eliminations. You remember we went up the park, was up the park for the you told me to come. I said, but Secretary may come in nowhere. You said, SB, come. I go up there for the semi-finals. Know her name is? The girl from Sunny Point.
Cherise.
So she said, Mr. Mills said, don't give you any folder. I said, what?
Which was the program for the
For
show.
the program, for the thing. I was like, what? What this is getting serious? I come by, you're not the secretary. You say, SB, late lie. Because you always give me a chill pill, eh? You always give me a chill pill.
Take it easy, take it
You
easy.
always give me a chill pill. SB, late lie. I say, by getting on my nerves, and that's what I said to you. You say, late lie. I say, again? But this is a pattern. You say, SB, let it lie, let it lie. Next thing I got to talk about, Sako. Went down by the circus now. Sit down. I ain't come to do no show.
Okay.
They had the best of the West. Nobody tell me doing the show. Normally, the chairman, them will call and say, morning SB, we do having a show next week or 2 days or whatever. They'll warn you. I don't get sitting down waiting for the show to start. Best of the West. One of them bring a laptop, put it in my hand. I know it's a laptop in my life yet.
An iPad.
I do so. An iPad, I do so. What is for? She said, Mr. Mills, give you. I said, me for what it is? She said, the thing.
The program.
I said, the program? So I thought, well, you know, when I look on it, I start to read. 8 o'clock show start. Where will next one? Then you get a joke. Then I said, it's got to be a joke. You cannot tell MC to give a joke. It's spontaneous. MCing, you cannot go on the stage with a meditation in your head, you're going to forget.
Well, he has given the new MC an iPad
Not me.
that he had to read off, and the cue went to give jokes.
You had to go according to
and I
what-
said to him, you're micromanaging every aspect of this carnival.
You can't do that. You
You know.
cannot do that.
Okay, we're going to pause for station ID and to give thanks to our sponsors and come back and continue interview. Call us, we have to hold the line, and we're going to open the line shortly, and then you can weigh in. Thank you.
Can't do that.
Quicks, 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 quicks cleans many, 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 many dishes and many, 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 many more.
Quicks cleans many, 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 many dishes and many, 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 many more.
Yes, Quicks cleans many, 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 many dishes and many, 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 many more.
Just one spoonful of concentrated Quicks cleans your whole sink full of dishes. Quicks, 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 clean.
Quicks cleans many, 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 many dishes and many, 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 many more.
Quicks, we wash more dishes.
Like us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/ramsupermarket. Follow us on Twitter, www.twitter.com/ramsupermarket. And subscribe to us on YouTube, www.youtube.com/ramsupermarket.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 30 days of unlimited social messaging, 10 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, and 1,000 local anywhere calls and texts. With the always-on prepaid plan, all for $100. Keep your number when you switch to St. Kitts' most reliable LTE network. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Welcome back to the studios of Win FM. We are in today's segment of Voices. If you just tuned in, we're interviewing the very popular Sandra B, the only national female MC within our federation, who has been on the stage for the past 27 years. And given a chance now via interview to hear her grievance with the current chairman, the disrespect, in the words that has been meted out to her by the gentleman. And I think she has a message for the new Minister of Carnival and Culture. I'm going to ask her what she would like to say to him. But in the meantime, I'm going to have a continuous story about her treatment by the current chairman of Carnival. So, we were at the point of talking about what? The shows that you were on, that he just took the mic from you. What do you think is your crime? What is it you may have done to offend him? Did he warn you in any way, tell you, well, don't say this on stage? Did he ever say that you're vulgar on stage, you're inappropriate? What is, because I'm the owner of Legends Tent, and any complaints should come to me. And he did said to me, he did ask me, why you keep saying that I'm the person who kept the female show alive? Mm-hmm. He made reference to the fact that there were a discussion with the past Minister of Carnival to not support the female show. Because, for a fact, it doesn't really bring in any revenue. But at the same time, if that is the rationale you're going to use, it can be applied to the Soca Monarch show. That don't make any money. You can say, okay, well, you already have a Calypso show, so you don't need a female show. But if the rationale is that the female show don't make any money, but the same yardstick, the Soca Monarch competition makes no money. And I think, given the dynamics of the competition, we have 7 finalists versus the Monarch. You don't get, the female don't get a chance to rub evenly. I know my contribution to the females who brought them to that level.
That's right.
And I have no regrets. As a matter of fact, one year, Diva took my own music song and beat me with it.
I banged you in.
Of course. I have no problem with that. Right? And 2 years ago, we had, based on a prediction, we had more females
In
in the national show
than
the males.
exactly. So that is
Right?
my problem. That's why
That's the whole competition. So you're trying to say, well, no longer support it. So maybe that was the issue he had with you saying that I was the one to save the show.
When
When
why do you think
he himself argued to keep the show going when the minister, based on what he said to me, was in favor of shutting it down. As a matter of fact, in a subsequent meeting, it was indicated that they would close the female show, but not before the elections. So it will be interesting to see what happens now, post-election, with a new chairperson.
That's right.
But I have no apologies to make for giving you this platform to air your grievances because there are many. As a matter of fact, I saw the audience with the former minister of Carnival to trash out all these things. It didn't happen. So let's get to it.
Great justice. Well,
So-
well, I have to. I know John L. very well. John L. Powell. He's my friend. He's my buddy, and I know he could do a good job.
Well,
Letting
he's a carnivalist. He said it.
that's right.
He's in the
Yes,
carnival.
yes, and I am looking forward. I'm looking forward for him to perform. And if there's a carnival this year, let me see what he's going to bring out. We need proper people to run this carnival. We don't want anybody personalizing the carnival and getting on the people's skin and trying to get rid of this and get rid of that. You understand where I'm coming from?
Well, there are many persons who have said to me in private and actually on other platforms that as long as the current chairman is there,
They're not going to take that.
they've taken back.
Are people told me
Right?
that?
And when you look at the trophies,
Me, for one, if it's there, I'm not going to be bothered.
right? When you look at the trophies that were given to the
Oh,
police
Lord.
soldiers, there were no engravements, very, very small trophies, no engravements. So if I were to lose it,
Nobody who knows.
nobody would know who it belongs
Of
to,
course not.
what it relates to, nothing at all.
When you showed me it, I was shocked.
And that was because a certain Mr. Derek Freites removed himself from that equation.
That's all right.
And it's shown a reluctance of working with that equation. So there are many other persons. But let's, the question I asked before we went to the break, what is it that in your mind you may have done to him that caused this animosity? To the point where he didn't even say to you, well,
That's the
Sandro,
only
we don't
thing.
need your service anymore. We're going to have nothing at all. Just come and take the mic.
Take
That's
the mic.
gross
I mean,
disrespect.
just come over and take the mic out of my hand. I tell you, thought the guy was going to fix the mic. So I was waiting for the mic to come back to me. Lo and behold, the guy said, good evening. We're ready to start the show. I came over, I said, Sako, you see what happening here? You said, chill, by SB, take a chill. You always giving me a chill pill, you're going to put me to sleep. I said, what is this to me? This is, I didn't even enjoy the show. I was confused.
Do you remember any setting, any meeting where you did ask him directly what it is?
When we had the meeting with me, you, Secretary,
Short
Short
Pants,
Pants, Numpy,
Wingwove, I think was there.
Wingwove, and himself was in a meeting on Monday. It was a Monday afternoon, and I asked him. I say, "What have I done to you? You tell me what Short Pants did, but tell me what SB Sandra Byron done to you. What have I done to you?" To talk to I said, no, tell me what I've done to you. I haven't done anything. If it's just inappropriate, you let me know. I try my best to be very respectful when I'm on the stage. I work with Sacco, and Sacco, he always there. So I know that I will go. Anything wrong, he will tell me. So what have I done to you? Up to now, up there with Sacco, let me tell you something. This is not my work, eh? Then Sacco start pulling me. I said, no, I can't take this. This is nonsense. If you have a problem with Short Pants, why are you putting it out on me? I never offend no one. I never call nobody out the name. I always try to be as respectful as I could on the stage. And I've never, ever, only thing I offended him is by saying that you is the one, and I can say it publicly. God bless you for having the female them around still. Otherwise, they'll have done gone through the gate. And look at it. The other year, most of the finalists was females. And most of the songs came from Socrates. So I mustn't give you, I cannot wait till you're dead to tell you, oh, he was a nice guy. And he said, I'm going to tell you, thank you, Socrates. Thank you for bringing this female thing this far. I mean, what did you do to tell you? And that is what people does. You wait until you're dead and say, Lord, he was a nice boy. Oh, no, nice he was. If he don't tell you when you're alive.
Well, apparently that offended him because no, there are other areas where he's tried to undermine my legacy. I was asked a couple of days ago, am I going to stand by and let him undermine my legacy? Because I gave him a scenario. Based on what he's trying to do, I have one of two options. Being the defending monarch, I don't have to take part in any Calypso tent. I don't have to put legends back together. I don't have to write for
that won't be
anyone.
nice. That won't be good. That
All
won't be
I
good.
have to do is go on the final night and present.
No,
That would be the selfish approach. But that's not me.
That'd be killing the carnival.
So the show he had some nights ago, he told someone who come and told me that, he said that was to stop me. It's all part of the All-Star Band equation.
Bull.
Because the All-Star Band means that after the 10th, you're going to have the All-Star Band playing from
All.
eliminations forward. The 10s don't make any money. We look forward to those shows for making something. My overhead is bigger than the other band. I have at least 6 to 8 persons who come from Nevis
No,
to take part in a tent.
I know.
I have to pay the transportation back and forth.
I know.
So I have to seek sponsorship for all that. But at the end of the day, you recall we had a tent down at the Pumpkin. Nobody showed up.
No, so you have to, and
Everybody got paid.
all the time.
Had a tent in Connery.
Nobody showed up.
Nobody showed up.
And everybody get paid.
We had a tent in Nevis. We yet to be paid. Had a tent in Frigate Bay.
Got to be
Yet to be paid. Had a tent with a Calypsonian in Keon. As a Calypso, I charge him X amount. I've yet to be paid. At the end of the day, everybody got paid.
That's
But
what
I'm hearing now, and I don't pay my Calypsonians, I don't pay my band members, and this and that and that.
And secretary, I just say, you are the only one. I remember when he came in the tent, he said, Lord God,
Yeah.
he said, me ham. Boy, man, I just pay people to sing in this tent, boy.
And he held up his check. He held up his
I'm
check.
telling you, because they have a problem, the Calypsonians, them, coming back and forth each night. Some of them cannot afford the bus fare going back and forth. And they knew was saying by heart for them, some of them in, some of them you'll pick up if you see them along the way. And so you decide you're gonna give them a stipend. So you
They get
get the money and you
receipts.
give them the stipend. A little $300, a little how much, $100.
More than that, because the
And
check that
sometimes God
chap
want to
was
sing.
for about $700,
Yeah.
and he held it up.
Yes.
But the issue with him and you was, there was an issue between you and the gentleman, Lord Kutch. And even if he had his rights, he could have come to me and said, well, Socrates XYZ. What he did was told me either you go or he go.
Remember.
you take the wrong approach.
That is,
He had a point, he had a point.
That was so funny. That was so
But
funny.
to come and tell me, well, Socrates son said either Sandra be go or I go, well, fellow,
Well, you
you set the
go.
terms.
Yeah, you
Anyway,
go find a next- you go find a
we're
next.
gonna look to open lines,
I
the
don't
numbers to
think
call.
Some things in this calypso in here ain't easy.
Okay.
This thing ain't easy. This thing is rough. You got to stand up. How much time to say I'm not gonna come back? But you Socrates who got me here. Oh, let's begin my next year.
It's bigger than us. And when we launched the Legends tent, we had the first interview on, it was Sugar City Rock. And a certain person called and said they gave us 1 year. We gave you one year, and then you fold. It's been 20 years.
20 years and past by.
So I want to thank you for your
But a lot of-
contribution.
20 years, a lot of struggles and a lot of people, even at the top, trying to get rid of the Legends band. I don't understand why.
Well, first I was told it was a Lindsey Grant tent. I was told it was a Pam tent, and so the boycott started there. But that's a different story. That's a different story.
What is in about
Right.
this then? What is in about
I'm
this
glad I was able to give you this chance to air your grievance because I know it's been bothering you for the longest time.
then?
The lines are open.
Bother me.
Anybody wish to call in and weigh in on the topic, change the topic, the numbers to call are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. And for the overseas lines, I'm looking to hear from New York Joe and Avril. I want to have the New York connection, so I know they're standing by, they're listening. 718-258-6984. From the Florida area, I have 508-921-4619. From the UK, we have 0333 044 0065. The lines are open. So yes, we're approaching Carnival. First, we have to get by the independence celebrations. We know normally around this time of year, September 18th, 19th, 21st is when the hurricanes normally approach Federation. We're going to keep our fingers crossed. The current atmosphere downtown is overcast by a whole canopy of the Sahara dust. It's humid. At this time of year, we are focused on what's going to happen during hurricane season. So 2020 has brought a number of challenges in terms of COVID-19, the elections, the hurricane season. Yes, your mom died, the matriarch of
Everything
the
went
family.
bad this year for me.
Nah, it can be good. Out of everything bad, there is a good. Right? I would say, in regards to that statement, he or she who don't understand, who fears death, he or she who fears death, don't understand life. If you fear death, you do not understand life. It means that while you're living, you have to live.
And do what you have to do.
You have
do
to
it in the
live.
proper way.
If
Once
you
you
figure, well, you're here forever and you have regrets at the end of your tenure, I'm clocking 65 and counting the blessings every single day.
I'm
So
60.
while you're here,
Do what you have to do.
And so to answer the question of the person who asked me, why would I stand by and let the gentleman destroy my legacy?
I know.
It's not going to happen.
No, I keep telling you, no, you can't do
It's not gonna
that.
happen.
You can't do that. Because you work too hard. You work too hard for certain thing. It ain't one limit. Every year, say, Lord, poor friend. He struggles getting sponsors, getting oh boy.
We went to Nevis for the first Calypso tent. The first Calypso tent, Legends took to Nevis. We made $3,000.
I know. And then it
It
cost
cost us $3,000.
more than 3 grand to get up and back.
We went a second time. We made no money. We ended up sleeping where? On the pier. Ladies sleeping on the pier in Nevis with 10 o'clock there.
I'm telling you, that night we went.
Understand?
That night we went to Nevis. Next day, the boat was supposed to bring us back down. He said, right after the show. Oh, you hear? When I looked video, I had to sleep in Sakutila.
No, that's
Take off your coat and cool. I
your
didn't
head
feel
was
it.
in my lap, not the whole you. So
I tell you, I said, Sakuti, don't do this again, boy. The man said, bring us back down right after the show. What is
it didn't happen.
Boy, we went through some things, you know.
We don't get the support of the more popular 10 grandmasters. We have no problem with that. But Legend was created to bring an easement to the amount of Calypsonians who were in the one tent. And with all the challenges, the first year I was given $5,000. $5,000 I was given from, and I must say, thanks to breweries. They were the first to come aboard. And subsequently, we have like platinum sponsors. But at the end of that year, everybody was paid. So when I'm hearing that the chairman says you're not paying your Calypsonians, your band members as they ought to, but for the many times that we don't make any money at the gate, I dig into my pocket and pay everyone based on the arrangements. I have yet to hear one band member
Who said they don't get paid?
come and tell me they don't get paid.
Never.
And
Never.
we make 2 installments. Tell me about it.
They get paid just before Christmas, the week before Christmas.
Christmas
That
Eve.
Christmas, the
This is
week-
now pre-VAT.
Uh-huh.
Pre-VAT. And then you get paid whenever
Ever,
based on...
when you get paid again. After the carnival pay you, then you pay us again.
Pay the balance.
But we never, ever said, we don't get. I know I look forward for my money just before Christmas. And then after Christmas and everything, I get money again. And that is how it's been all the time. We never say, well, Secretary, the only how is when they pay stay long to pay for the carnival. That's the only how we might get a little delay on the payment.
And I let everybody know. Let me hear what Chris Collins is saying. He's here from Sheffield, Wayne. Chris, thanks for listening. Remember the lines are open, Avril? Chris said, my gosh. Yeah, he's asking, oh boy, no, he's not from my hometown. Yes, he's from my hometown, but that has nothing to do with it. His contribution on mine are different levels.
Sandy Point, man.
Yeah. The Ranger high kick check, what? Kick, high king. This is from Ranger. Let me see what it said. Check Win FM. I think the lines are not functioning, he's saying. Okay, High King, check WinFM phones you are not answering. So I think the call is trying to get in, but they're not getting anything. Trent, are the phone lines working over there? No, we don't have any signals coming in, so there may be a problem. Okay, there's a call on the line. Call us straight to the lines. Your 11 voices. We may have lost a caller. Sorry. Feel free to call back. Okay, all phones are ringing, he says, but they're not picking up. I've had that issue with Joe and Avril over the weekend. They're trying to get in, but the lines are not connecting. So, caller, your 11 voices. Good day, caller, your 11 voices.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing okay. Luckily, I was listening. Even though I'm not picking up, the reception is not clean, but
Okay.
I'm making out. I cannot say. I think Calypso before Legend Band was formed.
Yes.
And I cannot test that Legend Band is the only band I ever get paid from. For singing in the tent. I don't test for that.
Can you speak a bit louder? There's a weak reception, but I can hear you, but Sandra can't quite hear you.
I'm saying that I'm singing Calypso before Legend Band was formed.
Yes, sir.
And Legend Band and tent is the only tent I ever get paid from for singing in the tent.
Respect that.
You understand me? So you're right with what you say. I guess you might be the only tent of the people.
Well, different managers, arrangements. But I try to honor the Calypsonians and the contribution, especially those who come from Nevis, who at the end of the tent, maybe after 11 o'clock, have to find a way to the Southeast Peninsula on a boat, risking their lives. So that is a major consideration for me. So I try to, as a Calypsonian, honor and respect the contribution that we make to Carnival every year.
Yeah.
So when are you going to see you again in
respect
tent?
that, and fully appreciate it. Yeah.
When are you coming back?
Oh, as soon as the legs allow me to. The legs are a strong man, so.
Okay,
That's
appreciate
what you
that.
say right now, Scooter now?
Your voice strong.
I'm not ashamed to say it, but the legs are not so strong.
All right, thanks. It's great hearing from you. And
Yes,
I
man, I appreciate that. No problem
appreciate
at
you
all.
saying that because there are folks who really don't know the challenges and
Yeah, I
what
cannot
we.
answer that, definitely. There's no lie about this.
All right.
Nigel Williams gave me an envelope in my hand.
Yes.
Nigel Numpty Williams. Remember, we both were living in the same area, and that's where he paid.
I appreciate that.
Right there in Pan Extension. I have nothing to talk about that.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. man.
How
No
was the
problem.
MC at the time? You have SB here. We have to send SB.
Oh, yeah, that's our girl all the time. Is she there?
She's here.
I'm right here listening. What are you saying?
Oh, this is Chukai Sandra.
It's okay.
Yes, SB. Nice hearing you.
All right.
Okay, Chukai.
All right.
I'm
Okay,
listening, I'm
Chukai.
listening.
All right.
All right.
Bless up. Have a good day.
So New York, Joe, Avril, Amber, Bunny, they're all trying to get in. Ricky Music Fest. Let's see what he's saying. We have people texting me online because they can't get through the phone lines. The numbers to call, if you can get to phone line, is 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-089, and those are local lines. And there's a call your 11 voices. Good morning, caller, your 11 voices.
Good morning, everybody out there in Radioland, and good morning, the iconic King.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you doing today?
Counting the blessings, all is well.
Oh my God. You are worthy of sainthood with all of the challenges that you confront. And you still maintain your equanimity. You are worthy of emulation. Some of us too have our grave grievances. We are not handling it half as well. Thank you for your exemplary performance. Sandra B., good morning. How are you doing this morning?
You guys saying good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Your voice is not, I think there's something wrong with the line. It's a weak connection. So if you can speak up, please.
Are you hearing me?
I can
better?
hear you, yes.
Thank you so much. Sandra B, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and how are you? How are you? I'm fine. I'm here with my king.
I know that. And look, what? I always say that the single greatest defect of the exalted West is that we withhold flowers from the living while lavishing them on the indifferent dead. Thanks for breaking that tradition. The idea with them, somebody going to tell you, be careful of what you say because you might not eat is implied censorship, unveiled.
That's correct.
In all of its suppressive potency, kudos to King Socrates for his heroic efforts at promoting gender equality for female Calypsonians who we love so much. Now, there is in this country a dangerous tendency to bury our collective heads in the proverbial sand, ostrich-like fashion, to our eternal shame. Somebody, Sister Sandra B, somebody, iconic King Socrates, must rise up and transcend fear to break this pernicious cycle. I heard you say, King Socrates, that while we are living, we must just keep on living and don't worry about dying. I'm with you all the way. Death is biological. I would remind the audience, a function of the body, while dying is psychological, a function of the mind. I will end by saying
Correct.
that Clarence D. Darrow said, as long as the world shall last, there will be wrong. And if no man objected and no man rebelled, man used in its universal context here, including male and females alike, those wrongs will last forever. Thanks for rising up in all of your majestic indignation. I love both of you. Have a great one. And may
Beautiful.
God with
Okay,
you.
Enver. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Enver. Have a
Love
nice
you.
day, Enver.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Nice, nice. Well said.
And to the point, short and sweet. And we're going to line? Okay. We're going to pause once more forward from our sponsors, and we'll be right back before the midday luncheon interlude.
Flo's new combo plan, the people's plan. Combo plan. You can call anyone, no matter which network you dey on. Just use your Flow.
I want a combo, but not for my belly. I feel me cell phone, so me call anybody. Call Mr. Man, call Granny. On the island, Flow come boom.
Yes, there is no need for to force no more. Cause it Flow combo plan, you're paying less for more.
Flow got a new combo plan. You can call anyone, no matter which network you dey on. Just use your Flow.
Dial star 129 number sign to activate your combo plan today.
We're back in studio with FM. We go straight to the lines. Call your live and voices.
Hi, good morning, King.
Good morning, sir. How about now?
So far, so good. Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and how you doing?
Well, oh, so far, so good. I just couldn't sit down from the moment that I was hearing you, listening to your interview with the King on the radio. I do know that there's some changes that need to be made, and they should have been made a long time ago. And the citizens of St. Kitts have waited a long time for some changes to come. And it is also very healthy with this kind of conversation of which you're having this morning, because of the fact is that lots of ministers, I know sometimes they get very busy, and they have a tendency to trust their loyalties to carry out certain mission and think that they are quite capable in doing so, which sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But in every position, it has been said that an unsupervised job is a job that is not complete at all. So most and many jobs need to be supervised, and so the ministers need to look closely at the individual who they trust, and don't worry about those that they can't trust. Those that they can't trust, those that they can't trust, those that they have to look at, because sometimes they make things so tainted for them that when they approach the electoral system, they get knocked out based on their operation.
Yep.
And so, to me, this is a call on all ministers who have been elected, those people who they take under their arms, who's supposed to be supporting them. Mm-hmm. And when time for election, people will be happy to vote for them. These people are just chasing away people from them. And when the minister going to ignore certain things like that, it put him in a funny position unless he just totally don't care. We have, in the public, we are good at the fact that we have the privilege to vote in and vote out a minister every 5 years. But these people have a tendency to be always popping up. You just can't vote them out. And in your face. And so therefore, the fact is that you're bringing out the facts of the things that happen, and you're in a position where the chairman could defend himself, get on the same radio which you are, and defend himself. And it is a good thing because it's open game, where he could say, hey, look, I didn't do this, I didn't recognize that, and I apologize for my action and so on, and move on.
Hey, Wasi.
Got you.
I tried to get a meeting with the minister and the chairman since last year during the CPL games, so that we can both sit and discuss these issues.
And what was the
So
outcome?
bringing them via the airplane was not my first option. Okay? That meeting is yet to take place. What actually happened, there was a prior meeting planned with Wingrove, the chairman, the minister and myself, which is a regular meeting to discuss the 10th activity and the calendar of events, etc. At that meeting, the minister was late. I indicated he had a meeting in the next 15 minutes. The chairman then presented his side of things. And when I started to respond, I was asked, is that about last year? I said, yes. I was told, I don't want to hear anything about last year. Then it was obvious that they had already discussed the matter.
Before.
So I kept my peace. The chairman was then able to go downtown and tell people that he embarrassed me in front of the minister because he was able to prove that he paid me $30,000 more than Grandmasters. Up till last week in Sandy Point, I was told that. The chairman stopped here and said that. Here's a question. Why would Ringo stand by and allow the chairman to pay me $30,000 more than him?
Nonsense.
It makes no sense.
Nonsense.
That
Which doesn't make
$30,000,
sense,
pardon?
which is questionable, but I
Right.
tell you this.
And he's
Which
gone to
you
my band
have
members
not
asking them how much I pay them and say that I don't pay them enough based on what he pays me because he paid me that amount, which is wrong. That $30,000 is spread over 3 years. $10,000 for the female show over 3 years is $30,000. I had that show when he came to town. He took it from Legends, gave it to Grandmasters without any preamble discussion. So that was his issue. Oh, I paid Socrates 1,000. Nonsense. So I sought an audience with the minister to deal with all these issues. So this is not my first reaction. But he has to understand that he just can't come and walk over me. I give from my heart.
Not all.
I'm the only Calypsonian who assists Calypsonians in the same competition at that level. 4 years ago, there were 16 songs in the finals. 8 was mine.
It's hurting. It's hurting.
Of course it is.
But I tell you, King, you with me?
I'm with you.
And talk about when you step back and the
This
Caribbean
issue
show.
go way back in Bible days. You remember there was a king who once had a servant named Haman.
Oh, yes.
And there was another man by the name of Mordecai.
Mordecai, yes.
Haman went and built a gallows to hang Mordecai. And in the eventuality, when the king found out what Haman was doing, he said, take Haman this very day.
And hang him on the same gallows.
Hang him on the gallows that he built for Mordecai. But you see, the thing is, King, I said that to say this. You have, and not you only, but we have to find ways and means to get to our elected representative. Because some reason or another, I don't know the reason. If I know, I might be a millionaire today. They do get lost in the system and forget what the people who are in their control are doing. They ignore them, give them full control because they might have been running up and down and campaign and so on, and that time nobody respect them. Somebody talk good in front of their face, and when they turn their back, they say, he ain't got no manners, he rude, he disrespectful, and so on and so on.
And they have the ear.
And they smile just for survival, just because they want to survive.
Well,
and so therefore, ministers need to look closely into these matters. And I want to say thank you, Sandra, for coming to the public. Because you see, Carnival belongs to the public. It is the people's business. And the people have a right to know.
Exactly.
And the more they know and the more they inform, the more they could get involved with the system and what is in existence.
Yes.
I think I have said enough. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, sir. I think I owe it to Sandra to really get a story up there because you can't make that level of contribution over the many years and be so disrespected in such a manner without any rational, any real reason except your own personal bias. I'm very clear, as long as your chairman, she can't get in the work, you're out of order. And the money you paid me, you claim, is not from your pocket. It's based on services rendered. Services rendered.
That's right.
Yeah, my sponsors come aboard and they assist because they realize what I'm doing. You want to come and just undermine in favor of your All-Star band. Have your All-Star band, but leave legends alone.
Well,
Leave legends alone. We won't go into the incident at Crave Bar with when he was told by a Calypsonian, if you think your band is sweet, put it in your bus and come to hear legends. And it ended up being physical. You know?
Nearly had a fight.
Nearly had a fight.
Nearly had a fight.
You know, you're out of order.
And when the chairman going to fight, I was like, can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
Going to fight with
a
somebody.
Man with a spinal injury.
Come on.
Or they said to him, if you think your band, referring to Chromatic, sweeter than my band, put them in your bus and bring them. These are things we endured over the years.
A lot of things happening over the years.
He's out of order.
I just get so, I say, Secretary, I don't think I could continue this, boy, because it's too much fight going on in this thing, and I can't. You say, oh, no, let them go on your speed.
We give to Carnival. The tent, the Calypso tents over the many years, we give to Carnival, we jumpstart Carnival, we bring in excitement via the new Calypsos, people come out to hear, you have your favorite, and we build into that.
But listen, Sakudi.
But the model he wants to bring says that from elimination going forward, the All-Star Band will kick in and do all the shows. So we must be the slaves to bring the tent, bring out the people. The tents don't make any money. At the end of that, All-Star take over. So Sarkozy is pushed back against that. So I am public enemy number one. So he told somebody, oh, that show he had the other night. They asked me to be on the show. I was asked to be on the show. And I said to the person,
not you.
Great idea, but I'll sit it out. So for Scotty and those are asking why I wasn't there, I chose not to be part of something that would ornament me. So congratulations. I saw the symbolic passing of the baton from the former Minister of Carnival to the current. That was all good. And they say sometimes don't pray for who, I just say I go, but for who's coming. I would wish that the current chairman is the person who would listen, and you listen and then you make your own decision. Not on one side. Listen to everybody and you make your own determination.
It's important to listen. The only how you will know and learn is if you listen. If you don't listen, you're getting problems. And that is the whole big problem. And communication, the whole big thing, this thing is communication.
So,
we need to communicate.
We about to break for the midday highlights. You want to say anything quickly to the new minister before we leave?
All I have to say to the new incoming minister, I hope that you have better plans in stream for the Calypsonians. Carnival on the whole, yes, but my take is the Calypsonians. I think they get a lot of knockouts. Calypsonians, they get a lot, and not only that, they are the backbone, I put it this way, a carnival. You only know carnival is on when the tent them start.
Okay.
There is no carnival without kite soul.
Okay, wrap it up quickly because we're going to break for the midday highlights. So, yeah, go ahead. You finished?
Yeah, so I just want to say, be more mindful towards the Calypsonians. I'm asking you to be more mindful towards the Calypsonians, because these are the backbone of the carnival. Without the Calypsonian, there is no carnival. You want the carnival start.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, Mr. Minister, could you please do me a favor? Try to bring back on the shows on the ZIZ video so the people at home can listen. It's very important.
Okay, on that note, we break for the midday newscast, and we'll be right back after that. Thank you for listening to the first segment of Voices. My name is Socrates, and you had in the studios with you the very, very popular Sandra D. Byron, only female national MC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Have a good lunch.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the Win FM Headline News. The Win FM Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, Carib Brewery, CNC Trading.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a local reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
The 69th meeting of the OECS Authority wrapped up Thursday, 18 June, and a communique issued on Saturday, 20 June, listed the topics discussed. These include the regional COVID-19 response, especially in areas of health, agriculture, and education, help from Cuba, and the procurement of critical medical supplies. The reopening of borders. No date was given, but the meeting reportedly mandated that the OECS Commission lead in the coordination and review of protocols with a view to harmonizing the region's approach, especially in the area of testing. Leaders also received a report on 300 agricultural workers from the OECS who were allowed to travel to Canada, with support from regional health officials and Canadian authorities. Another topic, support and financing of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. Chief Justice Dame Janice Pereira offered a report on the issue. Leaders reportedly discussed sustainable financing and opportunities such as increased remote training and virtual meetings. There was no information on any decision taken by the leaders. The OECS heads of government also received an update on the increased streamlining of finances at the OECS Commission, which included several cost reduction and revenue generation initiatives. The meeting was also apprised of the progress of the Sustainable Development Movement, scheduled to be held in September 2020. There was no clear information in the communique on whether any decision was taken on the matters under consideration. At the opening ceremony of the OECS Authorities meeting on Thursday, 18 June, Director General of the OECS, Didacus Jules, warned that regional supply chains must be enhanced for the Eastern Caribbean to survive the disruption posed by COVID-19.
This work is not armchair philosophizing. It is about thinking hard and deep about how can we, in the unprecedented circumstances of this moment, interpret the vision of the revised Treaty of Basse-Terre to a dynamic that could not have been foretold. The absolute disruption of the processes of globalization imposed by the pandemic are necessitating the replacement with processes of regionalization. Global and fast-flung supply chains are ruptured, and we now have to look to regional supply chains to provide everything that we need, since none of us, in the confines of our own small space, can produce and meet all of our needs on our own. Only by a regional effort, supplemented by national production based on comparative advantage, can the volume and diversity of our production meet our needs.
He urged the acceleration of the regional agenda.
While the revised Treaty of Basse-Terre did not foresee this dynamic, its prescription of an economic union upheld by the pillars of free movement of people, free circulation of goods, services, and capital, in fact represents the best solution our current circumstances in a living with COVID world. Our resolve, therefore, at the Commission is to seek the acceleration of the regional integration agenda, both at the OECS and within CARICOM. Just as COVID has forced on us the use of online modalities of learning in education, so too does it necessitate the fast tracking of all protocols, processes, and measures needed to make free trade and free movement of people a seamless reality, and a present-day urgency.
Hazy skies on Sunday due to the dust from the Sahara Desert raise questions about the hurricane season and whether the dust signal the onset of strong weather. The Weather Channel, though, reports that the Saharan air layer generally hampers tropical cyclone development.
It is dust that has traveled all the way from the Saharan Desert in Africa. It's actually a common occurrence this time of the year. It's known as the Saharan air layer. And these dry plumes of dust travel across the Atlantic every few days. They make about a 5,000-mile-long journey as they head toward the Gulf of Mexico. Now, one benefit of this big layer of dust is that it tends to suppress tropical activity. You can see it moves across the Caribbean, and it will eventually reach the Gulf and then even spread into the skies over the U.S.
According to the Weather Channel, the densest plume began to emerge off West Africa last weekend and has now traveled over 3,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean to the eastern Caribbean. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, says the Saharan air layer is typically located between 5,000 and 20,000 feet above the Earth's surface. It is transported westward by bursts of strong winds and tropical waves located in the central and the western Atlantic Ocean at altitudes between 6,500 and 14,500 feet. The dust plume is forecast to continue plowing west through the Caribbean Sea, then reach parts of the U.S. Gulf Coast and deep south later in the week. One good thing to note, the dust-laden air also produces spectacular sunrises and sunsets, the Weather Channel reported. The Atlantic hurricane season has begun. Here is a reminder of an earlier message from the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA.
Here at NOAA, we're predicting a 60% chance that the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season will be above normal. There's a 30% chance of the season being near normal, and only a 10% chance of it being below normal. Overall, this year's outlook reflects several climate factors that are conducive to increased hurricane activity, including the ongoing high-activity era that has been in place since 1995. We are predicting ENSO-neutral or La Niña conditions, along with warmer-than-average sea surface temperatures in the tropical Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean Sea, coupled with reduced vertical wind shear, weaker tropical Atlantic trade winds, and an enhanced West African monsoon. Hurricane preparedness is critically important for the 2020 hurricane season, just as it is every year. Keep in mind, you may need to adjust any preparedness actions based on the latest health and safety guidelines from the Centers for Disease Control and your local officials.
In St. Kitts and Nevis, national emergency management officials are convening meetings to assess the level of preparedness and the fact that COVID-19 realities will force adjustments to usual planning. At Friday's ceremony for the Helping Hands initiative, the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws, while commending Cara Brewery on its plans to donate 8,000 hand sanitizers, offered some insight on those hurricane preparations.
Just yesterday, I sat in a meeting, a stakeholder meeting at NEMA with the agencies, the committees that are tasked with preparing for the hurricane season. And so we are in the middle of the hurricane season, so there are two things we are fighting against. Hurricanes in the context of COVID-19. And in my presentation, I shared that this year's preparation for the 2020 season is going to be different because the shelters and all those agencies, you are going to have to think about physical distancing, social distancing, and hand hygiene. And the various departments, they said, hey, but we didn't budget for that. And so it warms my heart to be a part of this morning's process because there is hope, because, you know, the brewery can partner with the various national agencies as we prepare for the hurricane season in the context of COVID-19.
With borders in the region set to reopen on July 1st, Grenada's Prime Minister Keith Mitchell is outlining new measures he will be instituting come July. It was on Monday, June 15th, that the Cabinet of Grenada agreed to the July 1st date to have the island's airport, the Maurice Bishop International Airport, reopened. The Cabinet believes that the reopening can be done through significant education with all stakeholders in the sector. The Prime Minister confirmed that when the airport reopens, travelers will be required to present documents stating a negative COVID-19 test, while those who are positive will have to bear the cost of treatment.
With that, we're looking at by July 1st, if everything goes well, we have established a contract tracing team, which will trace people with an app available around the country as they move around. As they come into the country, they have to be tested before, and when they get to the airport, they'll have to be tested. We have quarantine areas where if when they come in, for example, with the airlines, they would have to go into 2-3 days of quarantine and PCR tests will be done. When that test is done, if they are tested negative, of course, then they return, they go up to the destination, but we follow them on their movements with an app over the period of time they're going to be here. And if you're tested positive, you go permanently for 2 weeks, 2 weeks, yes, into that quarantine area. But of course, they would have to meet the cost of all those quarantine and the tests available.
Speaking recently on sports show Mason and Guest in Barbados, the Grenada Prime Minister explained his territory's handling of the economic unemployment fallout from the pandemic.
Well, with respect to the unemployment, as you know, the tourism sector was devastated. Most of the hotels had to be closed, and for a lot of the workers were sent home. But because of the way we had managed our economy, fiscally and otherwise, from 2013 till then, we had some savings there, and of course some resources that we were able to announce a stimulus package that was given to the workers. We gave them 40% of the wages of hotel workers and other related areas of service like restaurants and different areas, the agricultural sector, the farmers, the farming community, the vendors in general were selling spices because the markets were closed. We gave them some donation, and of course the transport sector. We have over 1,400 minibuses in the country, and we agreed that some of them were contracted to private sector and government to provide services, and they did well with their contracts during that period. Outside of those, the rest of them, every single bus were given at least $800 per month for 3 months, so that we have given so far. Will be given for April, May, and June.
Though he acknowledged that the unemployment rate from the pandemic is falling, more work is still needed in the tourism sector.
We developed a task force which was looking into how we open the borders to minimize the risk that we are facing with the Ministry of Health and the COVID. We established a COVID subcommittee which was meeting daily, looking at all issues of how they deal with the situation and confronting us. And we must say that because of that, the ability to help some people, because now with the construction sector coming back on, we had quite a number of projects. So we expect the unemployment situation to be reduced over the coming months. But of course, you know, the hotel sector will not revive overnight. So that we may have to continue to provide some support to the hotel sector. And of course, the St. George's University, which was a major factor in economic activity in the country. They of course, took the students out there and all preparing to come back. And the whole issue is the whole preparation and the protocols that we have to establish to get them back.
Dr. Mitchell is among several regional leaders who were commended for the way they handled the pandemic.
Well, I think we got the national support. People, by and large, understood the seriousness of what they were facing. They recognize this pandemic is no respect of persons. And I think all sectors of the society, the business community, they suffered, but they were right there. The religious community, the leadership supported what we were doing very early. And because of that united effort, I think we have done well. The essential workers, most of them came forward and did what they had to do. We had about 23 cases, and some of them we were worried about, but they all made it. And today right now we have no positive cases right now, and hopefully it will stay so. But we know with the entrance of the border opening not long from now, that we probably will see a few cases, but we are putting everything in place to deal with any possibilities.
Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell. Meanwhile, in the Federation, there has not been an official announcement on when the borders will be reopened. However, just recently, new Minister of Health Akila Byron Nisbet confirmed that health officials are currently working on a plan for when the borders are reopened.
TDT News. The Air Quality Index has registered unhealthy in Trinidad and hazardous in Tobago. Meteorologists say thick dust from Africa arriving across the Eastern Caribbean will be with us for several days. What this means is that persons with allergies and other respiratory illnesses must take extra precautions over the next few days.
The Environmental Management Authority says at 11 a.m. on Sunday, its monitoring station in Point Lisas registered an unhealthy air quality index, and at Signal Hill, it was hazardous. The Air Quality Index is a number used by government agencies to communicate to the public how polluted the air currently is or how polluted it is forecast to become. As the index increases, an increasingly large percentage of the population is likely to experience severe adverse health effects. Now, in terms of the unhealthy status at Point Lisas, the authority says expect increased aggravation of respiratory symptoms in sensitive groups, including older adults, children, and people with respiratory ailments and allergies. Increased aggravation of heart or lung disease and premature mortality in people with heart or lung disease, increased respiratory effects in the general population. Now, people with heart or lung disease, older adults, children, and people with respiratory ailments and allergies should avoid prolonged or heavy exertion, and everyone else should reduce prolonged or heavy exertion. It is recommended that in Tobago, where the status is hazardous, everyone should avoid all physical activity outdoors. People with heart or lung disease, older adults, children, and people with respiratory ailments and allergies should remain indoors and keep activity levels low. Now, TDT's meteorologist Ian Wallace tells us we can expect the thick dust from Africa to stay with us for several days.
Strong thunderstorms over Africa create these massive dust storms. These massive dust storms, with some events reaching very high volumes of dust, can reach the Atlantic Ocean if the pressure patterns and winds are favorable. A mass of very dry, dusty air is called the Saharan air layer, and it forms over the Sahara Desert from April to August and can travel over the tropical North Atlantic Ocean every 3 to 5 days.
He says animals such as poultry and coral may also be affected by the high concentration of Saharan dust. Health professionals are advising affected persons to seek medical attention if they experience severe shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, persistent fever for more than 2 to 3 days, or a severe worsening of a pre-existing condition. Stacey Ann Providence, TDT News.
This is Al Jazeera.
Well, we start this hour in the United States, where coronavirus infections have soared as states continue to reopen their economies. The daily number of cases is now at its highest level in almost 2 months. A dozen states, including Arizona, Florida, and Texas, all experienced record increases in new cases just in the last week. But it is a different picture in New York City, once the epicenter of the outbreak. After 3 months of lockdown, offices, restaurants, and hair salons are reopening in America's biggest city. Well, across the world, there were 183,000 new infections reported on Sunday. That's the worst day yet, as the total nears 9 million. While in Brazil, the number of deaths there passed 50,000. And Indian authorities reported the highest daily jump in new infections there, 15,000. Despite the rising cases, restrictions continue to be relaxed. Well, we'll be speaking to Teresa Bow in just a moment for the situation in Brazil. But first, let's speak to Kristen Salumi, who's in New York. Kristen, do you get the sense that people in New York are anxious as things there begin to reopen, but we're seeing, well, this increasing number of infections around the country and also now White House officials warning of a potential second wave?
I think people are definitely still very concerned. You see that in the fact that they're wearing masks on the street and just the traffic that you see behind me. We're on Fifth Avenue, which is an iconic retail center of New York City. It's still early here. Saks Fifth Avenue behind me hasn't opened up yet, but it will reopen today for the first time in months. So not seeing a huge rush of people out to go shopping just yet, but people are also concerned about getting back to work, getting their livelihoods back. Some 300,000 people could be going back to work today, as many as that, as New York City enters what's known as phase 2 of reopening here. The state has been taking a phased approach, and New York City is the last to enter this phase where we're seeing retail, restaurants, offices reopen, but with strict social distancing measures in place. For example, New York's 27,000 restaurants are again allowed to serve customers, but only outside. That means outdoor seating on sidewalks or in patios. They're making more space available on sidewalks for some of these restaurants, but it's very difficult for them to also stay profitable under these new guidelines. But they're trying to ease into this to keep the coronavirus levels low as they move forward and attempt to restart the economy. We know that the city is planning to enforce these social distancing measures. For example, restaurant tables have to be 6 feet apart. They're handing out some 2 million masks to workers and patrons to aid in that effort. And, you have to remember that the unemployment rate here is now 18%. It rose another 3% in the last month. So it's this balancing act of getting people back to work, but also keeping them safe. And that's why they're being very strict with the social distancing measures.
A whole number of other states trying to grapple with that same balancing act as well. Give us a sense of the picture around the rest of the country, because it's very different to New York City.
This is true. Nationwide, new coronavirus infections have gone up 15% in the last week. That after plateauing for some 80 days prior to that. 29 states are seeing increases. In California, they had the highest one-day total of new infections since March at 4,500. Missouri, Oklahoma, where President Trump had his rally over the weekend, also had record high numbers of new infections, although overall the numbers are relatively small in a place like Missouri with 450 new infections. And 17 states are seeing lower rates of infection, including here in New York State. Now, the former Food and Drug Commissioner Scott Gottlieb, among others, has said that these new cases are not simply the result of more testing, which is something that President Trump has suggested. He said that's part of it, but there's also clear signs that community spread is increasing, and that is a concern going forward. Some good news, though, the fatality rate continues to decline. The fatality rate is down 43% in the last month, even as the new cases are rising. So there's some hope there, but also this concern that things could get out of hand again if it's allowed to increase at this rate.
Kristen Salumi there for us in New York, keeping an eye on things. Thank you very much, Kristen.
This is the Carib Update News Service. I'm Wendy Shettle reporting. Trinidad is keeping airports closed for now. This is the big story we're tracking this hour on the AM edition of Newsbreak for Monday, June 22, 2020. Details to this and more straight ahead. Now for the details. Trinidad's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says the borders of the Twin Island Republic will remain closed as long as health requirements related to COVID-19 remain in place. Speaking during a media conference in Tobago on the weekend, the Prime Minister said while some Caribbean countries have started to reopen their borders, his administration is determined to take a cautious approach. As it relates to travel exemptions, the Prime Minister added that priority will be given to those citizens who left temporarily to work abroad or receive medical treatment. Meanwhile, as of Monday, bars, beaches, rivers, casinos, private member clubs, cinemas, and gyms will resume operations as the country moves into the next phase of the gradual reopening of the economy. Restaurants will also be allowed to restart dine-in services. The Bahamas Ministry of Tourism and Aviation says that it is now preparing for the second phase of the Tourism Readiness and Recovery Plan, which will begin on Wednesday, July 1, and allow for the resumption of international travel to the Bahamas. According to the ministry, some of the guidelines in place include having all visitors presenting a COVID-19 PCR negative swab test upon arrival. However, the results must be no more than 10 days old. Meanwhile, select individuals will be exempt from testing, which includes children under the age of 2, private pilots who do not deplane, and Bahamian citizens, residents, and homeowners returning from English-speaking CARICOM countries. As part of Phase 2, hotels and vacation rentals, including Airbnb and HomeAway, will open to guests. Domestic and international airlines are now permitted to resume service. So far, Delta Airlines has announced that it will be resuming its twice-daily Atlanta to Nassau service on July 2. United Airlines announced its daily Houston to Nassau service will resume July 6, and the Saturday-only Denver to Nassau service will resume July 11. American Airlines will resume flights to Nassau and Exuma on July 7th, and Air Canada is scheduled to resume flights from Toronto to Nassau on July 3. A number of airlines have reportedly been requesting payment from the government for empty seats on flights into Jamaica. The disclosure was made by Minister without portfolio in the National Security Ministry, Senator Matthew Samuda. Senator Samuda said discussions are ongoing between the airlines and the government regarding seat support, but no payment has so far been made.
I'm aware that we've had such requests. I'm aware that negotiations are underway. I am not aware of any of those negotiations at this point being concluded, so we've made no commitments yet at this stage for such support. What we have found, and even in my own discussions with airlines, with the numbers of persons applying to come to Jamaica vastly increasing every day. So we used to get 100 applications a day, then 400, then 800, then 1,000. The critical mass that they will require is coming on board for the number of flights that are there. And that is a conversation that I've certainly been privy to.
In the meantime, Senator Samuda says more than 13,800 people have been approved for travel to Jamaica under the Controlled Re-Entry Program. This is Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service. In more news, the controversial statue of Lord Nelson in Bridgetown, Barbados may be moved to a maritime museum, but not before a public consultation on the matter. This was the indication from Prime Minister Mia Motley during an online Zoom discussion Saturday night targeting the Barbadian diaspora entitled We Gather in 2020, the online edition. Thousands of citizens are demanding the toppling of a colonial-era statue of British naval commander and slavery sympathizer Horatio Nelson in Bridgetown. However, Prime Minister Motley emphasized that National Heroes Square should be a place for Barbadian heroes. She recalled that a commission formed to discuss Nelson's fate more than 10 years ago recommended the monument should be moved. Guyana's Court of Appeal is expected to hand down a ruling on Monday on a motion filed by a private citizen seeking a series of orders to stop the Guyana Elections Commission GECOM from moving ahead with the declaration of the results from the disputed March 2 regional and general elections. Islin David is also seeking to prevent the Chief Elections Officer, Keith Lowenfield, from providing a report as requested by GECOM chairperson, retired Justice Claudette Singh, that could pave the way for the official announcement of the election results. The main opposition People's Progressive Party said that it won the elections based on the national recount of votes that ended on June 9, but the ruling coalition, a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, said that the polls were filled with irregularities and anomalies and wants it annulled. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chastanet will on Tuesday deliver the 2020-2021 budget address to Parliament that the government says will continue to outline its vision for the future socio-economic development of the island. A statement from the Office of the Prime Minister said that the address will outline the 4-year-old government's work on building a new and stronger St. Lucia. It said, quote, the Prime Minister's address under the theme New Challenges, New Opportunities to Continue to Build a Stronger St. Lucia Together follows the laying of the estimates of expenditure for the new financial year in the amount of $1.6 billion on April 29, unquote. These are some of the top stories from around the Caribbean this hour. This has been Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service. The Caribbean's newsroom. Reporting this hour, I am Wendy Chateau.
That was the Win FM Headline News, brought to you by KDP Enterprises, Caribbean Alliance, Carib Brewery, CNC Trading, The Grange.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime and bitters. Live, love, be.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
When is the last time that you've had lunch or dinner away from home? The ambience of Sweet Cane on Port Zante provides you with that touch. Sweet Cane daily specials include burgers, wraps, soup, and tasty seafood dishes. Sweet Cane also caters for events and special parties. Call our Sweet Cane hotline at 465-4345 or 665-7628. Sweet Cane, they've got the touch.
This is your local weather forecast brought to you by Sweet Cane. Local weather forecast for St. Catch and Nevis, valid up to 8 a.m. tomorrow, Tuesday, 23rd June. Synopsis: a dry and dusty environment associated with Saharan air layer will cause hazy conditions with reduced visibilities and minimal shower activity to prevail over the leewards and BVI today and tonight. Today's weather: partly cloudy and hazy with a 20% or slight chance of a brief shower. Tonight's weather: fair to partly cloudy and hazy with a 10% or slight chance of a brief shower. Winds easterly at 10 to 18 knots or 19 to 33 kilometers, with possible gusts to 28 knots or 52 kilometers over elevated terrain. Seas 1.4 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. Small craft operators should exercise caution against choppy seas and reduce visibilities. Today's sunset 6:48 p.m. Tomorrow's sunrise 5:38 a.m. This has been your local weather forecast, valid up to 8 a.m. tomorrow. Brought to you by Sweet Cane.
When is the last time that you've had lunch or dinner away from home? The ambience of Sweet Cane on Port Zante provides you with that touch. Sweet Cane daily specials include burgers, wraps, soup, and tasty seafood dishes. Sweet Cane also caters for events and special parties. Call our Sweet Cane hotline at 465-4345 or 665-7628. Sweet Cane, they've got the touch.
Found the sound. 98.9. FM.
Good afternoon and welcome back to today's second segment of Voices. My name is Socrates, host of today's episode. We're going to take a short break for station ID, paying tribute to our sponsors, and be right back with the program.
This is an unprecedented announcement from Horseman's. Get up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. It's Horseman's Automotive Unprecedented Sales Event happening now. Yes, for the first time ever, you get up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Yes, pay zero VAT and get up to $30,000 off on top of that. This has never been seen before. Unprecedented savings at the Unprecedented Auto Sales Event at Horseman's Automotive. Up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Let me repeat, up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Don't miss this, it's unprecedented. Terms and conditions apply.
Why not stay in? Turn off the alarm clock and sleep some more on your perfect mattress from Quartz. For the widest range of mattresses from the world's best brands, the best value guaranteed. Shop today and let our sleep experts help you to decide on the best option to suit your needs. At Quartz, we don't just sell mattresses, we're offering you the best night's sleep. So, sleep in a little on your new mattress from Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 30 days of unlimited social messaging, 10 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, and 1,000 local anywhere calls and texts. With the always-on prepaid plan, all for $100. Keep your number when you switch to St. Kitts' most reliable LTE network. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Okay, we're back with Voices. My name is Socrates, and I want to take this opportunity to apologize for our listening and viewing public. Those who are having challenges with the reception. I was actually downtown a short while ago, and there was very poor reception. I think these are issues being addressed at the transmitter sites. But for those who are able to hear and make their contribution, the numbers to call will be 466-0989. 662-0989, 762-0989, and for the overseas lines, we have 718-258-6984. From the Florida area, we have 508-921-4619, and from the UK, I know Chris is listening, he's logged on with his comments via the internet because the reception is, a bit poor there. It's 033-044-0065. That gets you direct to the studio of Voices, Win FM, of today's program of Voices, where you can make your contribution. It's the day after Father's Day, and I would hope that many fathers were made to feel appreciation from the kids and from all and sundry, because we know Mother's Day around the world is a very big thing, and we give all kudos and respect to the moms. The fathers, for a variety of reasons, don't feel that they get the same level of appreciation. Some do. Some people go out of their way to make sure that the fathers are acknowledged. And one appreciates that. The father myself, I got my grandkids on line yesterday to say, happy birthday, happy birthday. I said, no, it's Happy Father's Day. So we get that. So for those who didn't really get into it yesterday, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And yes, we got call on the line. Caller, you're live on Voices. Go right ahead.
Just a question.
So.
How are we getting a new chairman?
The question is, are we getting a new chairman of Carnival, I presume?
Yeah.
Well, one would hope that the new Minister of Culture and Carnival will look at all the challenges.
Yeah, because we need somebody who could just be easy to approach and who would actually do a good job and not be with all this drama. Thank you.
I would appreciate that. Thank you for your contribution. The sentiment is that we need a chairman of Carnival who will be more approachable and devoid of all the drama that we've been experiencing over the past 6 years, perhaps. So let's see what the result will be. I'm hearing rumors that there is already in place a selection process for the new chairperson. I don't know. I'm hearing rumors. Actually, during the news break, I went out on the streets, and I was told that. I don't know. Before I came this morning, there was a name bandied about. I do not know. But whatever the case is, we need a breath of a new approach. We should not be able to continue as is just because. And there's a call on the line. Caller, you're live on Voices. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Yes, Socrates.
Yes, sir. How about now?
Good morning, Mr. Hodge.
Good morning. Good afternoon to you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Hodge, let me tell you something, eh? Over the past years, Carnival been getting abandoned by people who are not thinking about Carnival. I think the young man deserves a chance. He got to walk on some attitude he have there, and let me move forward with the man. Carnival need people with ideas and a lot of attitude like what Noah is bringing to the country. All who talking and trying to fight Noah is all who used to be in the hand in the Carnival pocket. And it's a no more because we know about the Carnival money And no is in a push around fellow. That's a young man, full ideas, and he ain't going to wheel. Have a good day.
Thank you for your contribution, Jam Down. And the band plays on. We have some in favor of, some not so keen to have the current chairman continue in the present position. We'll see how things plays out. So yes, and there's another call on the line. Call your 11 voices. Caller, your 11 voices.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Long time to hear your voice. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Thank Jesus Christ for that, and greetings in His name.
Amen to that.
Sinners. First, I would like to call. I'm hearing conversation concerning Carnival.
Yes, sir.
Now, first of all, as a Christian, I would prefer it move from around the Christmas period to some other period that is not around the Christmas period or around the Easter period. That is one of my opinions on this issue. Another opinion I have is this as well, because I believe in doing things the Bible way. Carnival, government should not be in the carnival business. And even me and the chairman, I've been saying this over the years on Win FM, and I think even on other stations, and even some time ago when the chairman of the carnival was on, me and him even went at it. Okay?
Yep.
I do not believe the government should be involved in the carnival thing. I think since when the government became involved in overtaking, I think this is around 70, 71. I think carnival has been going down the drain since. When before government took it over, it is my understanding that a lot of the activities, well, there were activities that were in existence before the government took it over. But since the government took it over, those activities continually has been going out of existence.
Can you give an example?
And, for example, you have Sagra, you have, I was told about cowboys and Indians, and there's something the pole, something to do with some pole. And
the maypole?
Yes, something like, yeah, I don't remember the exact name.
I recall the Sagra you're speaking about, something in Lego business. I recall that.
Hello?
I recall the street theater that you referred to as Sagwa.
You're right.
And the planting of the maypole, I recall those events.
Well, and I understand they also had Indian and cowboys, what was another activity as well.
Yes.
And so on during carnival time. Now these activities, as you have seen, have declined over the years and basically are non-existent. Now, what I'm saying, when things are done by the private sector, you have far more creativity, you have far more initiatives, you have far more innovations, you have far more inventions and that sort of stuff, problem solving, that sort of stuff. But when things are done by the government, you do not have these positive things to the great degree that you would have when they are done and controlled by the private sector. As a matter of fact, you increase the problems and you increase things going down the drain, the more government is involved in things that the private sector is supposed to be doing and not government. And Carnival is one of those things.
There were times when the private sector don't measure up to the plate and governments would have to step in to pick up the slack.
Like when?
Okay, look at some of the programs that have replaced some of those that you've mentioned. They're bigger, they're more dynamic. Sometimes the funding for those programs cannot be entertained by the private sector.
Like what program?
Let's look at street activity. Street activity do not bring in any revenue. The days are long gone when these the cowboy, Indian, the Sagwa, the nigger business would perform in the streets for pennies. That's what they got. You got pennies, you have people lining the streets. As a matter of fact, they would go around the island and stop at people's private homes and collect pennies. Those days are gone. Mm-hmm. When you have the Carnival Parade Day, those activities that come down Keon Street, they are paid for now by the government because the private sector or the public in general no longer support them. So
but
they
look
are
at these
part,
streets
they form part of the budget that goes to pay for their contribution. They have to buy the costumery and they're paid. The private sector can't entertain that.
But look at these street activities. These street activities basically are vulgarities, and they're doing more harm to the society than good. Whereas these activities that were done when it was privately owned, when it was done on a private thing, they were more entertaining, uplifting, and they were not these degenerate things as we have today that were incarcerated, that are not even suitable for children. You know, so I don't see that as a plus. I see that as a negative, and I see that as backing up the argument that I said when government takes out things tend to more generally go down.
Well, that's a general statement that not everyone would agree with, but that's your opinion. Go right ahead.
Yeah, and you just look at these things and the internet. Look at this. You got these souls washing down people, exposing people, and all this sort of stuff. These are not good things.
But that's a private event during the carnival. Government don't sponsor that.
Who sponsors it?
That's a private event during the carnival.
Mm-hmm.
But government does not sponsor that. That's a private event.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. Fair enough. But the troops, the parades, and that sort of stuff, these are government stuff. And even then, like I said, a lot of what is going on in these parades and so is found wanting and is very vulgar. And people care about the kids. People care about the kids.
These troops that you speak about, these are also private entities who seek sponsors to sponsor the troop, the costume, etc. And they register with the Carnival Committee because they form part of the parade. So just for uniformity, but these are private events sponsored by private citizens that form part of the Carnival Parade Day. Government don't initiate that. These are private events that form part of the calendar of activities.
So then my question to you then is I know the troops are private, but the organizer of the troop is government. But what I'm saying, so what I'm saying, since the troops and that sort of stuff is private, okay, then how come now your argument now that government is needed? Where is the legs for that argument?
Because in overall,
these things are privately done.
It's a national product, it's a national carnival, where the government is, like I would say, the sponsor of everything. But the private individual troops, they have to go out and seek the sponsors to get the costumery, get the membership, and offer whatever. But Carnival has been nationalized as a government is oversees the proceedings, so to speak.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, the private sector can do far better overseeing, and not all can they, because look at the villages activities and the sort of stuff that are during the year. So what I'm saying is that the overseeing would be better done by the private sector, and not only that, instead you're just having one basic thing in the country. If the government gets out of it and controlled totally by the private sector, what you may have, though, you may have different competing troops, different competing stuff in different areas of the island. So people would have more choices.
There is a Ministry of Culture that helps to identify talent and to get certain programs, what we call our culture, the various activities that help to identify a country, a cultural identity. The Ministry of Culture, their job is to create platforms for expression for the upcoming talent. So they'll incorporate whatever and put it on display during the various platforms during Carnival, Independence. As a matter of fact, throughout the year, we have some cultural dancers who performed on a posante. Apart from a tip box they put up there for the tourists and whoever, the government pays them.
Yeah, but what I am saying is that obviously the government does it. What I'm saying is that when it comes to identifying talent and pushing people and that sort of stuff, the best the best source for doing that is the private sector, because you have far less politics involved, and you have far less bureaucracy involved, and that sort of stuff. And so when it comes to identifying and pushing people and that sort of stuff, the private sector is more creative and innovative where that is concerned.
Okay, sir.
Always.
Okay, sir. Is that your contribution today?
For now.
All right, thank you very much. As I said, it's lovely hearing your voice. And we have a caller on the line. Caller, you're live on Voices. Good day, caller, you're live on Voices.
Hey, Secretary, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Now, we just said some things, and I don't understand where he's taking it. But now, let me look at St. Thomas, okay? The Carnival Committee is a non-profit organization. They get an annual contribution from the government of $300,000.
Yes.
And that's it. But then they have resources to the stadium, and they could tap into any government agencies for wherever they need
assistance. Yes.
Yeah. And the Carnival Committee has 2 paid employees: the executive director and a secretary. And that's it. You know, our government need to get away from this this thing of paying for everything, and stop appointing, selecting who's going to be the chairman. It could be a non-profit organization. You make your contribution, and you resource them in any other way they need, whether it's transportation, access to Carnival Village, whatever,
Okay.
I mean, I think it's unfair for the taxpayers to be carrying this burden and paying for everything. I mean, I just heard you said, even the guys down and Zante.
Yes.
The government have to pay for that. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, let me come on to culture and tourism, because we have to marry the culture, what we present as a people, in terms of when the tourists come here. We see the masqueraders mainly performing, and they're a major attraction. Apart from the tip box, they have to be encouraged and incentivized to go out there daily at a certain time. It's normally when the cruise ship passengers are leaving. And that creates one very positive expression to see what the singers have to offer. We don't have calypso shows or queen pageants staged at that particular time of day. So tourism, let me say that because they pay them, but it's really government. And this is maintained throughout the year. This is maintained. So it should not come as a surprise to you. These guys now get up and say, okay, I have a 9-to-5 job. I'm going to give it up. I'm going to go out there and entertain the tourists to help to sell the destination and just dance for free. Or for a tip, something from the tip box. So the Department of Culture is involved in that through tourism, and they put on a display which actually helps the destination.
Okay. That part makes sense. But the Carnival, I think the government need to step back and let a private organization run it.
Okay.
And get away from the direct intervention of running Carnival.
I know in Dominica, the Calypso Association run the Calypso show. From the tents to the judging of the final, the Calypso Association there does that. We do not have here in St. Kitts, Nevis, a Calypso Association. So there's an example of a private entity, so to speak, taking over a major product of Carnival as it relates to the Calypso show in Dominica. We don't have that here. So there's the Carnival Committee, the Calypso Subcommittee, etc., which is all government. So the challenge is there. But we have to step up to the plate as Calypsonians or whatever organizers, band leaders, etc., and do that. A few years ago, there was an issue where the then chairman of Carnival decided they're going to pay for all the tents. But that was because of a certain image, because Carnival, a good image of Carnival reflects on the government. At that particular time, there was a seeming boycott of the Carnival, and people were boycotting the tents, so to speak. And so that particular chairman said, okay, we'll pay for all the tents. Because the tents failed, by extension, the carnival looked bad. And that was the history of they paying for the tents. So government stepped in that regard and sort of saved the image of the tents and the carnival overall. In Trinidad, that was accommodation that took place because of the politics. Whereas you had the big names like Coco, Skatey, Sugar Aloes, and those guys were hitting the then Indian Prime Minister, Pandey. The majority of the folks in the tents were Indians. And so they took offense to that and they backed away from the tent. The tent began to fail. The PNM stepped in now to support the tents. So the Calypsonians now, who are mainly PNM supporters, had to sing songs that reflected the government's policies. And that killed the tents to some extent because you were singing for your supper. They no longer had the independence of the Calypso tents. All the big names were then singing, still hitting the Indians. Still hitting Pandey, who had left office. Because they couldn't transition. So they had to praise PNM and hit Pandey. So the government stepped in to support the tent. And that was the problem. Whereas here, the tents are independent. We seek sponsors from the public, and we go up there and we deliver. And then from the eliminations forward, the government then takes over, and the work is done shared between the two main tents here in St. Kitts in terms of how you make some money. That is on the threat by the current policies of the chairman, and I'm fighting that. But government have its role to play, and the private sector does have its role to play in Carnival.
And one more thing before I go. Now, Gregory always talking about he's a Christian. Oh, I really don't like.
You know that he is?
I don't like how you use the terminology so broad because we grew up in a Christian community.
Mm-hmm. We identify as
Christians.
Mm-hmm.
But then the way they say it, they will make it sound as if it's something so special.
Well, if you say that you're converted now, you're born again, that's a special designation.
That I could understand.
Mm-hmm.
One morning I heard a young guy calling to a religious program, and he told the host he just become a Christian. So I was wondering if he was a Muslim before.
Well, it's by degree. It's you're told that you have to get saved to play yourself a Christian, and as a Christian, you have a certain standard, a certain lifestyle to portray, rather than the general public. You're supposed not to go to dance, sing calypso, do something because you're not a Christian. But we live in a Christian society. We identify as Christians as versus Muslim or, Buddhists, etc. So is the education, is the education that's not really there, or how we identify?
I mean, if you was to ask me where my religion is, I have to tell you Christian because I'm not Muslim. you see my point?
I got you.
But I'm not a born again,
Well,
and
that is Gregory. Gregory is born again.
Well, he should say it.
Okay.
Because
Well, he'll tell you,
He
will tell you.
He making me feel I'm not a Christian.
He will tell you, don't worry. He may call back and educate you as to exactly why he claimed that particular designation. So don't worry. Stick around and you'll hear from Gregory.
Okay, sir.
Have yourself a nice one. The lines are free. Call 11 voices.
Yes, Socrates, it's me again.
Yes, Gregory.
Yes. First of all, I would like to say, concerning, I think I heard a few years back that Carnival in Trinidad is privatized. I think that's what I've heard.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
you may have heard that. Sorry, you may have heard that.
Yeah, I think I've heard that. Either Trinidad or Guyana, some of those countries down there. If it's privatized, that's what I've heard. But what I'm saying, we also have to realize, okay? We also have to realize, government does not get money free. Everything government do, it is a cost to the country. And the more the government is doing that thing, the more a cost it is to the country. And the more they would have to levy taxes on you. And the more they levy taxes on you, is the more it will decrease the economy, is the more unemployment will be created, is the more the standard of living will go down, that sort of stuff. So therefore, one of the things is that a lot of these things that government are in need to get out of, including carnival, because, like I said, it costs more money on the government. The government has to increase the taxes, that sort of stuff. It affects the economy negatively. It creates more poverty in the land. Whereas, on the other hand, if the government now reduce taxes, that sort of stuff, it's the better the private sector would be able to operate, because things will be made a lot cheaper for the private sector to operate. And therefore, if the private sector is doing such things as carnival and that sort of stuff, the private sector would even be in a far better position now, since it is cheaper to run carnival, to even run it a whole lot better, because the private sector is far better at running things than government, where most things are concerned. All of these things need to be factored in and need to be taken in awareness of. Because not, but the more the government spends, is the more the national debt goes up and that starts up, and that is not good.
There's a budget for that, Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many vendors and people who take part in Carnival who look forward to that. So it's not free. They charge vendors. They charge people who rent property during Carnival time. People fly in. So it's not like a free-for-all. The government sponsors the whole thing. Bands, street activities, all the different things has like Inception. All these are things that contribute to revenue making of carnivals. It's not the government sponsoring the whole thing. The private sector is very much involved.
Yeah, I'm not saying it is sponsoring the whole thing, but what I'm saying is that the more you get out of these things, the less expense it would have in its budget, and therefore, the less it will be able to. The more it would be able to lessen taxes and that sort of stuff, which would be far better for the country and which would help the private sector to do things even far better, because it would now be even cheaper and cheaper for the private sector to do things. This is what I'm saying.
Government budget for the cultural development of the country, you have to have that. You have to feed into the energy of the young talent. And so by whatever way of expression, whether it's during carnival, music festival, or whatever program, you have to invest. And carnival is one of the biggest platforms to showcase our young people talent. So you have to invest in that. So I won't see that money being wasted.
No, what I'm saying, when you want money wasted, put government in charge. But what I'm saying is that, what I'm saying is that when it comes to investment, the best sector to attract investment is the private sector. The private sector is the best sector to attract investment.
Let me ask a question. You have 4, 5, 6, 7 young Calypsonians, teens, okay? The private sector going to invest in them. How and what would be the return?
How and what would be the return?
To the private sector, as opposed to the government.
Okay, number one, the private sector would be able to advertise, get more customers, get investment in the sort of stuff. Two, the more, for example, the more competition you have concerning these things. For example, if different people in the private sector are able to compete with each other in their own carnival and that sort of stuff, competition would bring out the best in people. Competition. That would mean now those who you're sponsoring, in order to get customers, you're going to have to pay them more money. It's going to become more of a business, and because it become more of a business and people are getting paid more, therefore a greater incentive would now be there for people to be doing stuff that is in demand by the market.
Don't the government offer that platform?
Including the cultural stuff.
Don't the government offer that platform?
No, the government cannot do it and offer it to the degree that the private sector would be able to do it and offer it, especially if you have competition. Because competition, as they say, competition is the mother of all initiatives and innovations and inventions. That is what competition is the mother of. You don't have it when it comes to government doing these
I think
things.
there's a good
because the
marriage.
government doesn't operate.
I think there's a good marriage right now between government and the private sector in terms of the various programs, carnival or otherwise, because the government don't do it on their own. They seek sponsorship from the corporate society, and they will probably match those funds and make sure the production is up to par, which helps to market the country. So there are returns. So I don't think it's a wasted investment because there have to be returns. The amount of people who fly home here doing carnival, nationals and non-nationals, and they make they make a contribution financially. So you have to market, you have to invest, and most times you hear carnival is a success because you can't pay for the kind of marketing.
But it's a success because we do not know what the alternative is. But like I said, if it was completely privatized and you had different competitions and people having their own activities and that sort of stuff, because of competition, you would even see a far higher standard of activity.
Would you volunteer to be in such a committee?
Hello?
Would you volunteer to be in such a committee?
If I would volunteer to be, no, I'm not. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. If it is privatized, hold on. If it is privatized,
Yeah, if it's privatized, would you volunteer to be in the committee?
A privatized committee?
Yes.
It all depends. It all depends on what the activities are. It all depends on what the activities are. If the activities doesn't go against my Christian belief, then I would have no problem. But if it goes against my Christian belief, then I would have a problem.
Okay,
so
great.
I would have to know about it.
We're going to pause now for a word from our sponsors and be right back. But thank you for your contribution.
Why not stay in? Turn off the alarm clock and sleep some more on your perfect mattress from Quartz. For the widest range of mattresses from the world's best brands, the best value guaranteed. Shop today and let our sleep experts help you to decide on the best option to suit your needs. At Quartz, we don't just sell mattresses, we're offering you the best night's sleep. So, sleep in a little on your new mattress from Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
Flo's new combo plan, the people's plan. Combo combo plan. You can call anyone, no matter which network you dey on. Just use your Flow.
I want a combo, but not for my belly. I feel me cell phone, so me call anybody. Call Mr. Man, call Granny. On the island, Flow, come boom.
Yes, there is no need for to force no more. Cause with Flow combo plan, you're paying less for more.
Flow got a new combo plan. You can call anyone, no matter which network you dey on. Just use your Flow.
Dial star 129 number sign to activate your combo plan today.
This is an unprecedented announcement from Horseman's. Get up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. It's Horseman's Automotive Unprecedented Sales Event happening now. Yes, for the first time ever, you get up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Yes, pay zero VAT and get up to $30,000 off on top of that. This has never been seen before. Unprecedented savings at the Unprecedented Auto Sales Event at Horseman's Automotive. Up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Let me repeat, up to $30,000 off and pay zero VAT on top of that. Don't miss it. It's unprecedented. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, we're back with voices, and we go straight to the phone lines. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm listening to your program, right, and your last caller. He said, as a Christian, he against carnival.
Let me tell you something, right? It's lovely to hear your voice after this long time, so go right ahead.
Yes, he's against that. For me, the thought that came to my mind, as a Christian, why should he even care when carnival is? But then the thought the spirit jump in the mind and say, there's a difference. There's a Christian and a child of God. Because for me, it don't matter when carnival is. It don't concern me. If I'm not in it, I shouldn't be concerned when it is. And as a child of God, he focused too much. As a Christian, as he say, he focusing on carnival. It has nothing to do with God. He don't edify God in no way, so it shouldn't be a concern of his.
I think he's focusing on how the carnival season overlaps with the Christian date, the date that we celebrate Sky's birthday.
Jesus did not born December 25th. Get it together.
All right.
He did not born December 25th. That's a pagan myth.
Okay.
So that has nothing to do with God. God is not impressed. People who only want to recognize him on December 25th.
There you go.
You have a good day.
There you go. All right. Let me segue into, well, not segue. Let me look at this thing. I have what is supposed to be a developing news, making the rounds on social media, not really verified by this station, but it says illegal aliens found in Keys Village. And we have a call on the line. Caller, you're live on Voices. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm okay. Yourself?
I'm okay. I don't know if this was addressed this morning or if you are privy to any information regarding what I'm about to say. Is Culturama still on?
No. My last information has been postponed or cancelled.
Why?
They gave the same reason as most programs have been cancelled, COVID-19.
COVID-19?
Yes.
Is there COVID-19?
That's academic. We know there's a pandemic that affects most of the globe. And here in St. Kitts Nevis, they've taken precautions to cancel most social events, music festival, for example, and Culturama. We are debating whether or not we have carnival as we know it. So the question is, there COVID-19? I'm not a scientist. I'm going by what we're told, like most people on the globe. And we understand the death toll, how it affects people's health, so we're taking all precautions.
Okay. I could understand if the border is open up. We don't know if the border will be open up by time that the time that is specified. But in terms of internal, there can be a Culturama that is internal.
Yes.
Because by all accounts, there is no COVID here.
Point taken.
Just a few weeks ago, they had all sort of parading and jumping up and motorcading and all of that. Since March, we don't have any community spread.
Quite so.
If the borders are closed, I don't see why there cannot be a Culturama from within.
Correct.
Okay? Because many times we feel like we need persons to come in to make things happen or to be successful.
To a large extent, when it comes to Culturama and Carnival, we depend on a large influx of nationals and, folks coming home at Carnival time to help with the festivities. But as you say, it can be internal, maybe a smaller scale, but they can have Culturama based on the fact that we've been COVID-free for 60 days now?
Yes, because as it says, Culturama. There doesn't have to be there doesn't have to be the expense of, a lot of money. And like you said, it can be scaled down. They may not have to have the Queen show, as the case may be. I mean, we say we are 90-something% intelligent. I mean, this is time now to put that intelligence to work. We can have something very successful. It could be a Culturama with a difference.
I agree with you.
It could be a Culturama with a difference. And who knows? Depending on what comes off, he might set the trend for the future. But I think, as if the border is closed, I think that can be considered. I think it can be considered.
I am in agreement with you, but like most and many, I'm just watching to see. I don't have all information as to what drives the decisions ultimately. But based on the fact that we can look back now in retrospect and say, okay, we're COVID-free. I think a few months ago when they decided to cancel, they were looking at it through different lens. But now we can rethink that whole thing and see, because we're now on June 22nd? Short planning perhaps, but of course, if you have a model in place, it can still be done on a smaller scale, maybe, but still you have that celebration, because it's what we do to release all the pent-up issues, and Carnival, like Culturama, is the time when people actually release. You must have that emotional release. So I think I'd be in favor of that.
But you see, they could have had plan A, plan B. Because, from the beginning we were told how well we have handled all of what we had. So I don't understand why everything was cancelled up front just like that. And then on the back of it, we are told how well we manage it and we have this thing under control. So if we have it under control internally, why so many things have to be cancelled? And still, yes, I'm not saying that we must let down our guard and we must be foolhardy and we must not, you know what I mean? But this kind of, the way we're treating it as though, it's like we have no confidence. All right, on the one hand, we're saying that we are COVID-free, but at the same time, people are still imprisoned, so to speak. If we're saying that our system is so strong and we are ready for it, what better way to test is to open up, free up inside, free it up.
The country, yes.
And that's the only how we can know if there are cases, how strong the system is. You're going to wait until you open up, God forbid, because it seems like many people calling the COVID to come here. They're calling this thing about second wave and so on. I don't know if we had a first wave, because I don't know what we're talking about sometimes, because, like I say, if it comes, I don't think people will really have mouth to talk. And death and life is in the power of the tongue. The way we speak, we have to be careful. It seems like many people wishing for it to come. I don't. And I remove myself from under the covering. Yes, we are not supposed to be foolhardy. We understand what is happening outside, and we have to follow whatever, regulations, stipulations, whatever there is to protect ourselves. But at the same time, we are imprisoning ourselves, and it's negatively impacting the economy.
Quite so.
All right? So I will wait to see what happens.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm told, thank you for your contribution. I'm told that sometime in September we may have calls from the Carnival Cruise Lines. And I'm thinking, okay, fine, but they're coming from a hot zone, Miami. But I'm told, okay, what's going to happen, that each passenger, the passengers in general, will be tested before leaving the destination. And at each port of call, they'll go through that and leaving the ships, returning. But there has to be certain regulations in place from port to port to port. So we have to look at new boundaries of receiving our guests. We know that the economy, or anybody's economy, can't stay shut down for too long, so we're looking at maybe September, based on what I'm told, for cruise ships to come to St. Kitts again. The Carnival Cruise Line is the one being identified. We'll see how that go when it happens. But in terms of business as we know it, that will change. The question as to whether or not we can entertain Culturama from this stage. Can they go back to the drawing board and do a new model of Culturama? These events, I won't say largely, but to a very large extent, depend on the influx of our returning nationals and other persons from within the region to celebrate with us. We have the competition from Antigua during the annual carnival. We have Tortola. And so you find when people come here annually, we can better gauge the economic impact of the festivities at the end of the day, based on the folks who normally track to St. Kitts, Nevis during those festivities. So the question is, can they still have Culturama at this stage? Maybe late planning, who knows? Are we going to have Carnival as we normally have it? Issue is with that, or the challenge is being able to entertain the amount of people that will come home for Carnival from not from North America mainly, because that place is a hot mess, and that is one of the main obstacles for our planning in terms of what Carnival could be. Right, I was saying a little bit of, is there a call on the line? Caller, your 11 voices, how we take people waiting?
Yes, hello, Secretary?
Yes, Gregory.
Yeah, I'm going to be quick, I'm going to be very quick.
Please be.
A Christian, right, is one who has truly repented and believed the gospel of Jesus Christ's death, burial, and resurrection, and ascension to heaven. That is a true Christian, one who is born again by the blood of Christ. It's not a matter about born in some kind of quote-unquote Christian society or that sort of stuff.
So we're dealing with Christians versus true Christians.
Huh?
What do you mean, like the general concept of Christianity versus the Christian, right?
Well, the general concept of Christianity is anti-biblical. The biblical definition of a Christian is one who has truly repented and who has believed the gospel of Jesus Christ, death, burial, and resurrection, and who is doing the very best by the Spirit of God to live in accordance with the Word of God, to evidence that they have received the new birth of Jesus Christ.
And that is the rock on which you stand, right?
Hello?
That is the rock on which you stand.
That is the rock.
The rock. I'm wearing a mask, so, you know. Okay, let me take the mask off. I'm saying, is that the rock on which you stand?
Yeah, that is the rock on which
I
you
was
stand.
seeking. That's the rock on which you stand, right?
Yes. This is what the Bible teaches. And by the way, we don't know when Jesus Christ was born, and it's necessary to know when he was born to celebrate his birth.
But you were saying that you want to move the carnival from around the Christian, you know what I mean? So, which is it?
Because this is the traditional time we celebrate his birth. This is the traditional. Yes, we don't know exactly when, but we don't know. We don't have to know exactly when to celebrate it. But we choose the traditional time, which is the 25th. And so, because we choose that traditional time, I would prefer to see it move to another time that is not within the Christmas time or the Easter time. That is what I personally would prefer.
Okay, Gregory.
That's what, but definitely a true Christian is one who has truly repented and believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ, death, burial, and resurrection. Thank you.
And you got the last word. I know you will call back and defend your position. My friend overseas, next
Jesus
show.
be the glory.
Yes, you make sure you call and you sort Jeffrey out, okay? It's just about 1:30 in the studios of Win FM, 98.9 on the FM dial. And we've come to today's closure of Voices. My name is Socrates. It's been a pleasure being here this morning. My first guest was, my guest today has been Sandra B. And she spoke about some issues that relates to her career as an MC and how it was brought to a sudden end by the current chairman. And we'll pick up that at the next time. So to the folks out there, Brenda O'Neill, to Amber, to Bonnie, to New York Joe, to Avril, I'm sorry I didn't get in on the lines, but perhaps next time, peace, love, and a much brighter tomorrow.